Hello everyone, this is Persephone, and today we're going to discuss the insufferable beta man. I had many of you on Night Flirt contacting me and thanking me for these videos, so I will continue making them and hopefully they will help. Consider this video tough love. I don't say any of these things to insult anyone. If anything, those are things that all women or most women that you encounter will think about you if you engage in these behaviors. And they're just not going to say anything to you, they're just going to avoid you. So from time to time, I talk to guys online on my various adult media that they tell me that I'm trying so hard, I follow the rest of your advice, and yet women want nothing to do with me. And I don't do anything wrong, I don't insult them, I'm not rude to them, I'm not stingy, I go on dates and I pay for the first date, and yet I never hear from them again. It's like I'm repulsing them. It's like I have a curse. And from my experience, when I start talking to these people after a while, some of them I end up blocking them and sometimes being extremely harsh to them myself. I'm guilty of that, so I admit it. And I'm going to mention a variety of examples of things that men do here that, although they are not, most of them, they are not outright abusive, over time they become insufferable. Thing number one, some of them are because of my own autism, so please bear with me. You may have to need, to date an autistic woman, you never know. Asking things that they are extremely obvious and in general, not thinking and being inconsiderate. That could be a sign of ADHD or other disorder, so it may not be your fault at all. But if you suspect you have ADHD, please consider a mental professional. For example, I am on Night Flirt and there are messages from men saying, "Do you do cam shows?" That's like going to a vegetarian restaurant and saying, "Do you have steaks?" when outside there's a sign saying vegetarian. I'm on a phone site. Why on earth would I do a cam show? Also, on my listings on Night Flirt, on the things that I offer, there is no cam with phone. So why do you need to ask me that? Another example is my lines are closed on Night Flirt, which means I'm not online, I'm not available, and there is a person saying, "Are you online? I need to contact you right now." If I was online, there would be a sign saying I'm online because I'm there for the money. I want to make money. So why would I be online and appear offline? Am I hiding from you? These are like the death by 1,000 paper cuts. You're going to say you're nitpicking, you're a psycho, these things don't matter. You're right, 1 or 2 or 3, they don't matter. Would I be able to live with a guy who talks like that on a daily basis, who just blurts things out without thinking, or that he's just looking only after himself? I want to talk to you right now. Now, like a 2-year-old. I would much rather shoot myself in the head, to be honest, than date someone like that. I don't care if he's the most handsome, I don't care if he's the most rich. Peace of mind, I don't put a price tag on that, especially now. So please, if you engage in these behaviors, like I said, in many cases could be a sign of ADHD or ADD or something like that, go to a psychologist to get tested. And I don't say this to insult anyone. You can get help for that and it's going to improve your chances with women tremendously. Thing number 2, telling other people how to do their job. And I'm going to add to that the hordes of fake subs who message me, and it's honestly some days I'm thinking I'm going to find you and you're going to see what happens. And of course I'm not going to do that, we don't support violence, but it's insufferable. So a recent example is a centipede that contacted me again from Night Flirt. I was on Night Flirt a lot these days because I didn't feel confident to show myself after losing 20 pounds because of the illness I mentioned in the previous video. So this guy messages me and he says, "I'm interested in cuckolding." Fine, let's talk about that. So we start talking about cuckolding. If you want more information, you can look at my other videos about cuckolding. And he starts saying, "I have a mistress and she goes out with other men and I go out with other women." And I ask him at first, do you have someone like an alpha male or a bull or something in your relationship? And then he gives me the amazing answer. Bulls aren't real. They don't exist. They exist only in porn. I try to be nice and I tell him, "Excuse me, bulls are very real. I know hundreds of men who are into the cuckold lifestyle, and you can't have a cuckold relationship without at least one bull. It's like having an ice cone without ice cream on it." And he says, "No, we don't have one." Then he says, "Sometimes I'm the bull and sometimes I'm a switch and sometimes there are women begging me for my bodily fluids." I'm telling him, this is not cuckolding. This is an open relationship. If that's your thing, great, but it's not cuckolding. Then he becomes very defensive and I ask him how big is you know what, and he says 5 inches. Like, dude, you ain't switching and you ain't alpha on anyone with 5 inches. I wanted to say get the fuck out of here, but because I was getting paid to argue, I continued. And then I say, your girlfriend isn't a mistress. She's a girl who enjoys open relationships. And by the way, if he was an alpha, if he was satisfying her in the important areas, he wouldn't be seeking other men. Let me tell you, do you think that the women who date the BBC News, or that there is a guy who is 6'3" and 9.5 inches and let's say rich and handsome, do you think that woman will want an open relationship with him? She will be plotting how he's going to like propose to her. But okay, let the psychotic people be psychotic. So we continued, and after that he starts saying that you don't need to sub or dom anything, people like different things, and starts lecturing me. Like, excuse me, I'm the pro here. You called me. And I say cuckolding on my description, and you're telling me how to do your job. I told him, I don't need your money, go harass someone else. And he blocked me before I blocked him, which I consider a win because I really love harassing people who harass me back. Like, call it petty, I don't care. So, to transfer this to the real world, if you meet a woman that she has an unusual profession, okay, let's say she's a marine biologist. Let's say she's a politician. Let's say she's a stay-at-home mom with 19 kids homeschooling them. The nice thing to do, the thing that is going to help you win people over is be polite, be interested, and ask questions. This is such an attractive thing. It can expand your worldview, and it can definitely help you be successful in every area of life. I suggest the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's an ancient book, it's an old book, but it's one of the classics to start when it comes to how to have a nice conversation. Please, 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 I cannot emphasize this enough. Don't go to people with an air of arrogance, trying to teach them their job, trying to start lecturing them. When you disagree, you explode and you become rude, or even worse, like this guy was to me, condescending. He said bulls don't exist, they are in porn. Excuse me? Just because you have 5 inches and you don't even know what masculinity is, it means that bulls aren't even real? I would take more seriously one of the conspiracies to say birds aren't real than someone who says bulls aren't real. But even if you disagree, even if you say, okay, this woman about me doesn't know what she's talking about, I don't want to talk to her anymore, say thank you for your time and terminate the interaction. Don't start lecturing me. Like, he's blacklisted, I'm telling you. You have no idea how blacklisted he is. Like, there was the extreme stupidity. Thing number 3. Saying generic crap to women such as smile more, that they come from patriarchy from the Middle Ages, smile more, lose weight, do this, do that, wear this, say that. Or the turbo centipede who sent me a message after my previous message, and he said about my illness, my second autoimmune illness, now I have 2, none of this would have happened if you didn't do OnlyFans and you just married a man. So I'm just going to respond to this turbo centipede because there is not a virtual fly swatter to crush it. And I would say, first of all, I married a man twice, not the same man. And second, let's say I did marry a man, you Einstein. You can marry a man with my parents interfering constantly because I would be poor as fuck if I didn't do OnlyFans. Especially now with my health being off the rails, with my autoimmune going rogue on a rampage, I would 100% not have been able to hold down a normal job. And because none of the men I married was a millionaire, one was quite well off, he was a doctor. The second one, he had an Asian mother-in-law that can drive you to bankruptcy, simply her existence. This is a topic for a different video, the Asian mother-in-law thing. And also, despite the fact that I encourage people to find someone who can provide for them, and I believe that's the right choice because if you try poor and happy, you're not going to be very happy, I would have an extremely unhappy life if I had to be financially dependent on my parents every time I needed something. And how you're going to say, how are you so sure about that? Because I used to be. Until I left my home at 17, they dangled money over my head to abuse me in unimaginable ways. You cannot imagine the things that happened to me physically, mentally, sexually. So no, I didn't do OnlyFans out of greed or out of laziness or the other media, like you can say many videos, OnlyFans is just one of them. I didn't do that when I could have just married a man and have a life. Try having a marriage or a relationship with third parties, family members, constantly interfering, constantly controlling, constantly saying, I'm going to pay for this that you need if you do that, and see what happens, see how easy it's going to be. Like the uneducated mind, sitting on lying, thinking you know everything. In general, don't be a know-it-all when you are a man. Don't be sexist. Re-examine your beliefs. If you want to believe in the patriarchy or QAnon or whatever, at least make sure that it comes from you. That you do not just regurgitate the garbage your failed parents taught you. And I know this person has failed parents because he said this from a fake profile with a cartoon character and a fake name. All of these quote-unquote men, that in my opinion, this person who wrote this comment, you're not a man, I don't know what you are, a subhuman. Because I show my face and my name here, and you don't dare to say this to me. You have to say this from the safety of cowardice. I'm telling you guys, and keep this in mind, there will be a day where I'm going to be rich enough that when I feel like it, I will be finding these people. And like I said, no violence, we don't do anything to this channel, but I'm going to look if there is anything legal you can do to them. I'm going to do it. So be very careful what we write to me. I was psycho before, I am next level psycho now. Like, have you seen this leveling up on anime thing where you get into the next level? Well, now I'm more deranged than ever, so be careful. Thing number 3 that actually repulses women. Playing the victim. I had all of these encounters in the last month, so that's why I summarized them here. I'm a person that I believe in being true to yourself, talking about your emotions with a mental health professional or with your friends or with someone you trust, being realistic and black-pilled about your situation and not living in delusions. I'm the biggest supporter of all of these things. But for the love of God, when you first talk to a woman, no matter how hard you have it, don't try to bait her into pity dating you or even worse, pity fucking you. I'm sorry that I use crude language, like that's how I feel. I have these people who say, oh, no one wants me, mistress. Oh, Persephone, I found you from YouTube. There is no one compatible to me. I had it so bad. I'm a 44-year-old virgin. And they go on and on and on and on. And whatever I suggest they can do to improve their situation, either they supposedly have done it and it didn't help, or they don't want to either try. Why are you here? Is this some free therapy session where we hold hands and cry in the forest like some new age alternative group therapy? If yes, okay, I'm all for it, let's do it. If not, I don't know, you think you make yourself more attractive in my eyes when you talk such crap? Or the people who say, if only you lived closer, Persephone, we could be together. Or when I tell them I'm dating people in real life, oh my God, what a disaster, why do you do this? What do you expect? Do you think I'm going to, like, drama farming? What are you doing here? Do you think any woman is interested in keeping a man in her life who whines and whines and whines and whines and never takes action? And when I call this out, because I do call it out, because I have an abundance mentality. One crazy person leaves, another crazy person will come and you will make money anyway. Once I point this out that you have to do something to improve your situation, then they say, oh, I have no motivation. I'm so discouraged. Oh, my life is so hard. First of all, if we went down the suffering Olympics path, I would kick your ass when it comes to hard life, so you don't give this to me. And second, I'm going to tell you something here that is useful in self-development. Results bring motivation. Motivation doesn't come from the sky as a blessing from God, if you believe in God, which means you have to force yourself to start doing something you absolutely don't want to do, even if it's something small. And the small progress, the small rush of dopamine in your brain, if it hasn't been fried from dopamine from porn and dopamine from games, it's going to make you continue. That's why they say when you want to write a book and you have writer's block, sit down and write one paragraph. When you want to start actually working out, get on the floor and do 2 push-ups. And you're going to say, Persephone, you're just talking shit here to make money on YouTube. What will 2 push-ups do or 1 paragraph do? I've tried it, it rewires your brain. So don't give me the, oh, I'm so unmotivated, I need you, the white goddess in my life, to motivate me. I'm not going to do that. You have to help yourself. You have to put on big boy pants and actually get things done. So if you want to be motivated, you have to start taking action against what your body is telling you, against what your rotting corpse on the couch watching TV is telling you. I can't help you more than that. You have to start helping yourself. So maybe you're whining to women too much. Maybe you're oversharing. After you know the woman well, it's okay to share some things about yourself, or if you have a problem, to discuss it. After all, I don't want you to date a dumb woman, or I don't want you to date some brain-dead mistress who only cares about money. I just want you to be able to share, but not when you first contact someone. Or when people ask me these baiting questions, would you date me? We would be so good together. Oh yeah, this brings us to the next. Celebrity worship syndrome. I would never call myself a celebrity because technically I'm not. I mean, my channel is tiny compared to so many others on YouTube, and I'm only known in the weirder side of the internet, you can say, but don't start obsessing over people online. Celebrities, porn stars, cam girls, e-girls, whatever. You don't even know these people. If you met me in real life, it would never have worked out between us unless you were as crazy as me. A small example, I can get obsessed over one project and spend 3 days on that project completely ignoring everyone and everything around me. So the person who whines and the person who has insecure attachment style and needs reassurance, it's not going to work. You're not missing out anything by not seeing these people, by not being with these people. I know it feels like it, but it's not. So I have men that I suggest finding a woman in real life, and they say this is not going to be as good as the girls on Instagram. This is not going to be as good as this or that girl. Well, you're digging your own grave here. You have to start living in the real world, which means you're a nobody that nobody cares about. You need to date a nobody that nobody cares about for it to even have a slightest chance of working out. If you tell me I don't want that, then okay, please go be a celebrity or please go be a millionaire, and the women will come to you because they will want to use you for your money, but still you're going to be with these women, you're going to have sex with these women. Those are the two choices. A third choice where some woman from the internet magically decides to be with you despite your 3-inch penis and the fact that you are 99 years old and you still live with your mom and you have 3 mental disorders. Those things belong in the sphere of psychosis and they will not work out. And I'm saying this because I have this person that they live in some godforsaken island in England, and every 2 days they message me to say, why can't you move in with me? Because I don't want to, and because if I was there you would be harassing me 24/7. Like, get yourself into, I want to be able to put myself on the other person's shoes for a minute. Can you do that? Have you ever done that? Okay, and now I'm going to say, last but not least, oh my god, we're at 16 minutes, hello, rambling again. Last but not least for this video, this is my personal preference. Not all women are going to have it, but I want to add it here because women of substance are going to have it, and yes, that is self-bragging, I don't feel bad. Being extremely self-centered and doing what I say, living in a hole, living in a bubble of your own non-existent self-importance, aka narcissism. There are people that they talk to me on the phone because, like I said, I did night flight these days. 50 minutes, 3 hours, 6 hours. I had a guy that he was calling me every day for a week straight for 2 hours. The amount of money I've made for this person, you cannot imagine. Thousands upon thousands. Was it pleasant? Not at all. Was it because the guy was a pervert? Not really. He was quite normal in many ways, except there was one problem. During all of these hours upon hours upon hours when we were on the phone, he didn't ask me a single thing about myself. It was all about him. All. And it was all insignificant crap. He talked about his dad and his dad's job because he works with his dad. That's why he has such a big salary, because if this was the real world, this person would have been fired for psychosis. And his hobbies and what he eats every day and his house and how amazing his house is and how if him and me lived together, I would see the house and I would be amazed, and he wanted to send me pictures of his house. Then he talked about when he met a trans escort and he insisted on having unprotected sex, and then the next day he woke up in New York and he had blisters on his anus. Okay, I'm not going to start about the story, it's disgusting, it's going to derail the video. So it was like, I know that people who want to date or people who want to like use adult services are going to be self-centered, and you have the right to do so because the call is for you, you are paying, you're the customer is right in most occasions unless the customer is psychotic. But you can't do that in the dating world. I'm repulsed by people that they don't really care about anything that happens in the world. They don't do any kind of charity, any kind of activism. Putting some stupid badge in your Facebook, I don't consider this as activism. That they don't know anything about anything besides their microcosm. That is one of the most repulsive things to me, and it shows that you're stupid, you're close-minded, you're self-centered, and you're essentially an NPC. Like, if anything happens in the world and they want to get rid of the useless humans, you're going to be one of the first to go. Like, there is more to life than just going to a job and going back and going to the bar and then fantasizing about having a girlfriend making fun of your small penis. I need some substance in the people around me to at least appreciate them. There are so many people that if you ask them what is hunger in the map, let's say, they don't know. If you ask them something about Asian people, they don't know. Anything about racism, they don't know. Anything about inflation, they don't know. They're going to talk about their dog and their friend's uncle and their dog's best friend and so on. And like I said, if I wasn't getting paid and someone told me held a gun on your head or you live with this person, I would say aim well and shoot so it's over in a second. Because I would prefer the fast death than the slow death. I'm not saying you should fake a personality, I'm just saying please stop being extremely infantilized and self-centered. Probably it's not even your fault, probably you're raised by parents who are the same or you had friends to be the same. Also, I'm not talking getting into conspiracy or watching the news all day and being horrified by the bad things happening. I'm talking about balance. Get some education, it's never too late to start. Go volunteer at an animal shelter. Go volunteer at any kind of charity. Do something, help someone. So that it's going to expand your horizon, it's going to get you out of your misery. I'm going to tell you this from experience and close this video. When I was in the hospital last month, because I was in the hospital like all April, and I was having a huge pity party for one, I was thinking like, oh my God, I'm going to die here after 9 days of starvation and 5 days of not sleeping. And there were people next to me who were actually dying. There were people who died in the ward where I was. In the time where I was there, because I told you in the previous video, they put me in the pathology section and not on the gastroenterology, that it was the we wait for those people to die section. And everyone was like almost, thank God everyone was over 90. And I say this because I don't know how much it would have like burdened me psychologically if I saw little children die. Thank God there weren't any children. But I'm just saying that you think you have it bad until you see someone next to you actually dying. And then you start putting things into perspective that at least you have your life, at least we live in a time where there are immunosuppressants to do something about my out of control immune system and so on. So you whine and whine and whine, but if you go to do some actual charity, if you get out of your freaking comfort zone and you see the world around you, or even if you learn about how people live in other parts of the world, maybe you're going to appreciate what you have a bit more in a genuine way. I never believed in gratitude journals and crap. Every time I tried to keep one, it made me gag inside. And so many psychiatrists recommended it, but actually seeing much worse next to me, that did make a difference. And also, I tell you that the women who have substance, the best quality women are the women who volunteer. So if you go to an animal shelter, the girls there that they help the animals for free, the cats and the dogs, those girls are not girlfriend material, they're wife material. They're not going to be out there getting drunk on bars. They're not going to be having 10 more guys on their phone. And they have abundance, they have things to give to someone. They're not bipolar or borderline or other people who can murder you from Tinder. And I don't say this to shame anyone with a mental illness, but let's just say it's not easy to date cluster B people. I wouldn't advise it. So maybe geographically you are in the wrong country and maybe your mentality is in the wrong place that, oh, I go to the bar, why don't I meet any girls? Girls go to the bar to meet chads, to meet alpha guys, tall, handsome, rich, whatever. They're not going to be interested in you and your 3 inches. And last but not least, I get many questions that I'm not going to answer anymore. Actually, I don't think I ever answered them, just finishing the video. People say, Mistress, I saw your video about 5 inches, I have 5.1, am I okay? Mistress, I have your video that this says something about 5 inches, I'm 4.99936, am I okay? No, you're not okay. 5 is the bare minimum. We're not going to just, I don't know, try here to say, oh, 5.1 is amazing. It's not. In general, you have to be at least 6, 7 to have a chance at normalcy. No one is going to be impressed because you have 5.1 instead of 5. Okay, so please don't send me these questions anymore. I don't have time to answer it, and deep down you know the answer yourself. How much difference is 5 and 5.1? Do you see a woman that before she has sex with you, she's going to take out a ruler and she's going to say, oh, it was 5.1, it wasn't 5, thank God. She's going to be unimpressed with the 5 and unimpressed with the 5.1. For the under 5, it's over. I'm not even going to comment. Vasectomy, chastity, serving a goddess if you're under 5. I don't care if it's 4.999316 and the other comments that you send me that I don't know if the people type from the mental hospital when they send them. I don't know how you even come up with this question. Thank you for watching.